welcome to today's edition of Pegasus Test. On today's edition, we're covering Hatila 23, hosted by the SRA at Hatila. This is the Team America edition. Yes, I got several guys to come over with me this year instead of just me by myself, so lots of footage for you all to see. And what did we do on Stage 1? Well, the coolest thing about Stage 1 is it was basically on a Finnish military tank table. Yeah, pretty freaking cool. And it was a field firing problem. So you had close targets and far away targets that needed to be engaged. You started out in a kneeling position, engaged some targets at about 25 meters away, poppers. Then you ran forward, engaged some paper targets that were really close, kind of simulated the enemy getting close to your position in a counterattack. Then you ran over to another shooting position that looked suspiciously like a bunker, but I was assured by the ROs it was not a bunker. And you used it kind of like a shooting bench, and you were able to engage some targets that were at about 280 to 310 meters away. They were pop-up, so they did react when you hit them. Then you engaged some other targets that were at about medium distance, I'd say at about 40-50 meters, and then the stage was over. Let's go ahead and take a look at my run, and then we're going to talk about what happened on the backside of this. Alright, so starting here from the kneeling position on the go signal, one of the things that worked for and against me, you'll notice my rifle has a magnifier on it. And I had to run it with the magnifier deployed at all times, which was a bit of a detriment. The reason I had to do that is the way I had the camera mounted. It's getting the shots you see right here, didn't let the magnifier slip out of the way. I decided to take the hit for it because I thought the footage would be worth it. And I think it was, but that much magnification, 3 power close in, is a little bit detriment, although here you'll see shortly on the long range shots, it was very much helpful. Now this was a shooting platform, they told me. It looks like a bunker. I could have used it like a bunker, but the ROs said please don't use it like a bunker and shoot over the top. So since they're the ROs, they get to make that call. And there's a close-up of the 2 targets I'm ignoring while engaging the long ones, and that's going to bite me here in a little bit. Now I tactically got cover behind the rocks, even though it wasn't required, but I figured, hey, when you're in a training situation like this, take advantage of it.
You want to continue?
And yeah.
Have you stopped it?
Those questions caused me to think I left something there. And not sure what it was, going through the targets in my mind. Oh, there they are. Of course, need for a reload, not helpful. Didn't do that very tactically, but then the time crunch was on.
Oh, are you finished?
Now I am.
86-29.
Oh, missing a couple of targets there and going back didn't help time, but this is a fun field fire course. I tried to do it tactically sound as possible. We'll see how that looks on video. Alrighty. Well, it was a pretty good run except for that little bobble where I forgot to engage the peppers right after getting the long-range Yasta shots. And for those of you who don't know, Yasta is a type of pop-up target that's radio-controlled they use in Finland. Very similar to the Crazy Ivans we have on U.S. military bases. And I was so happy I got those long-range targets that had given a lot of other people a lot of trouble that I forgot the entirely close-in paper targets and moved on to the other Yastas. So that was not good, and that really cost me a lot of time. If you'll notice, though, when I do reach into the firing saying, are you sure you're done? I'm like, uh-oh, and I start mentally going through all the targets going, oh shit, he wouldn't be saying that if I hadn't left something. So took that little clue, went and found those targets. Probably cost me about 20 seconds. So this would have been a really good stage for me. Instead, it was just an okay stage. And I feel that I should put in a note here. One of the rules of SRA is there's no coaching. Much as you've seen in my brutality videos, we're calling out, you know, hit or miss or go right, go left, or hey, you missed the poppers there, or something like that. You can't do that in SRA, so that makes the shooter have to do a reshoot and everything and delays the match, so that's considered pretty uncool. This stage was super fun, very practical, from engaging targets close in to far away. It was an absolute blast, and to have the ability to train on such a high quality range is just absolutely phenomenal. And shout out to the Panzer Brigade of the Finnish Armed Forces for allowing this match to occur on the Hatila range. As I mentioned at the start of the video, A couple other guys came along with me. Let's first take a look at Chris's run, and then we'll pop in and see how Davis did.
Ready? Ready. Stand 5. What's the muscle? What's the muscle?
All right, we all know it wouldn't be a match without a camera gremlin, and they struck Chris on his run. And apologize that got a little remote camera footage there for you, but he had a fairly decent run. He did have a little problem on the long range target, and that got him with a thing called zero shift. He was using his What Would Stoner Do rifle with a Trijicon MRO, and he shoots this rifle almost exclusively suppressed here in the United States. Well, couldn't take the suppressor with him to Finland. So we got over there, we did a quick zero check, and we found a great range to go do it at. And of course, you always forget something when you go to the range, and we forgot targets that day. So we made a very makeshift one we put up, and he was significantly off to the right and high. So we got it, the windage corrected spot on, but we were guessing at the elevation due to terrain features being in the way, and we intersected by saying, oh, right where the berm in front of the target cuts across the board, put rounds right there, it'll be. They were a little high, and so his zero was a little higher than he was normally used to. That tripped him up on the long range targets on this stage. Other than that, he had a pretty solid run, and I apologize that we didn't get it on video for you.
What's the muscle? Are you finished? Yes.
All right, as you can see on Davis's run, pretty solid except for the problems he had at the shooting platform. And let's talk about that real quick, because that was two distinct problems he was having. The first, he had basically a triple feed. Yeah, he had a round in the chamber, and he had two more jammed up in between it and stuff. So he cleared it first by ripping the magazine out, and that got two of the rounds out. Let the bolt go home, took a shot at the target. That took care of round 3. And then inserted his mag and re-engaged the targets. So that reduced his first problem. By the way, he was shooting a Bushmaster ACR. Don't know if that was particularly the cause of the problem. I've heard of double feeds in ARs, but I've never heard of a triple feed. The other problem was the hits weren't coming for him on the long-range targets, and he had a bit of wandering zero. Now, he had also zeroed his rifle 2 days before the match, because before sending his guns to Finland, he put on a brand new EOTech XPS-3 and a magnifier on the rifle, and literally handed it to me to send over. He hadn't zeroed it at all. And we shot, found out where it was hitting, adjusted, got the zero, did a confirmation, and it was off again, and we adjusted and got it on and fired and fired and fired until we were sure the zero was good. And it wasn't. But that was no fault of Davis, because what had happened on the ACR, the ratchet in the quick change barrel system was working loose under recoil. So while he did have a zero when we left the zero range 2 days before, stage 1 here of Hatila was actually the 3rd stage we fired that day. and the ratchet system, or however that barrel locks itself in, had worked itself loose, and his zero shifted. But he realized what the problem was after this stage, so going forward he's going to be A-OK and things are going to work out for him. Spoiler alert. We hope you're enjoying this coverage of Hatila 23. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and tune in tomorrow because we got more stages coming your way.